There's a great quote, one of my favorites, from a French priest, a Roman Catholic priest, who was at one point the Bishop of Rennes in France. And it says a lot about our time here in Chattanooga in our day of the end of centralization, the end of a long period of the nation state where things have become very dense and very progressive and very statist. And that, of course, is the nation state and what it has brought us in the way of political economy. His name is Lamennais, and here's what he said. I've not read his work, but his main idea that I have often thought about and really kind of relished is this: centralization brings apoplexy at the center and paralysis at the extremities. That is the problem of government ownership of the economy, government licensing schemes, and government that is politically, that is political, yes, but also an economic actor where government is chief merchant, chief investor, chief actor, chief organizer, and the leading capitalist. When you have an economy like that, you have centralization. And because the government, the state is the center where things happen, you have more and more of what he calls apoplexy. Now, apoplexy, you might consider, is something like having seizures, right? Having seizures, and you're lying on the floor, and your friends are trying to make sure your tongue doesn't go down your throat. And then at the extremities, you have paralysis, and that's where we are here in Chattanooga. We are, in many ways, in the extremities of the nation state, as probably every city in the country has something of being an extremity. And there it would be paralysis. Paralysis is things can't get done without permission from people in Nashville or people in Washington. People become very guarded, very hesitant. There are regulations galore. You have to do anything, you have to hire an attorney, you have to hire an accountant, you have to hire a compliance manager. And if you're a small business, these are all expenses which make it almost impossible to continue. And so there's been a great decline in the creation of small business around the country. And I'm hoping you, my listener, won't follow the trend too closely, but that you will be independent and that you will divest nationally and invest locally. The centralization problem you can see. Perhaps if you look at the way it's being eaten out from the outside and from the inside, centralization in many industries is coming to an end. And I'd like to suggest that because this trend is universal and taking place in many areas, that we have hope for the future, even as we face an economic disaster. Even though the stock markets are continuing at a boom, we are at the end of a long bull market that is 3,480 days old. A bull market which is measured in nominal dollars seems unstoppable, but which has to be corrected, and which will be corrected in a major cataclysm just ahead. I'm suggesting just down the street, just down the river a little ways toward the roaring sound that you're hearing, and that is the Iguazu Falls in South America. And you think you're on a flat river and not sure what the sound is, where all the haze is ahead from those great falls that create their own weather system with so much wind and water rushing down and mist, a fabulous missed. We have decentralization in many functions. In fundraising, for example, in raising money, you can do that through GoFundMe. I have a GoFundMe page for my show. Billboards, also breaking up. You have in Chattanooga, you have the Blip system, where you can be on billboards through. Nugget Radio. We have a great setup with Sam Jordan, our operations manager. Would love to get you on a billboard. You don't have to have a major investment for paint and glue and paper printing of your billboard that has to stay there for 3 months to be worth the money. You can have a billboard that shows up every few seconds and gets your message out there. Hotels are being broken up, of course, by Airbnb. The taxi industry, licensed medallion cartels are also under duress from Uber and Lyft. Newspapers and television stations are under under duress as well. Look how thin the Chattanooga Times Free Press is. We all have cell phones. We all effectively are members of the press here on the David Toulis Show, and it's 800-8949-800-894-9. David Toulis, you report and the world decides. And that is that slogan we offer because we want you to think that you are our staff. We don't have hired staff here. We're all here at risk. We're all contractors or owners or investors at this radio station. And with that in mind, you can work for us and not be on staff either. And tell us what you see. Tell us what you're seeing out there. That's what we want to know. What does your cell phone record? What interesting conversations have you had? What encounters have you had with the good people in the Chattanooga area? And on transportation, even there, just on the point of the media is being broken up by the internet, by technology, where the man with the smartphone has more power in his hand than Randolph Hearst had with his myriad newspapers in California back when he was head of the yellow press in the transportation field, or the you have breaking up as well. Uber taking on the taxi system. Lime and Bird with the electric scooters coming to Chattanooga, which we want to be thankful for, is a good thing. There, you have a device activated by your smartphone making a credit card payment, and you can run it for as long or short as you need. And then you just drop it. You just say, I'm done. And you leave it there on the side of a street or along a sidewalk, and someone else picks it up and uses it. And you have instantaneous use, instantaneous mobility without making any investment or commitment to a car and all the expenses associated with it. Self-driving buses are ahead. The lumbering buses, which follow the same pattern every day. Those are probably the first things that will be giving over, cutting costs. CARTA is a money-losing operation, continues to lose money, and it can save on payroll, its largest expense. Think of the banking sector where you have Bitcoin. Think in education, you've got Khan Academy, you've got homeschooling, you've got private schooling. The decentralization of that whole function is also very, very positive. And yet we have commitments by state actors, whether they be Governor Haslam and his educational cartel through universities, high schools, and state licensed institutions of lower learning. And yet there are ways of thinking about gaining an education, gaining a certification. Your education is not through a certified institution, the trend suggests, but towards the certification of the individual. Again, decentralization of the function. And Lamennais is right that when we have centralization through the state, we have a loss of market signals, and that's why we face a national disaster financially, with the paper dollar maybe facing its last hurrah, either through a hyperinflation or other. That's not sure. Probably hyperinflation. That's the only thing that central banks know to do when the crisis hits, the crisis of confidence. We don't have enough money, so we will print trillions of new dollars digitally or on paper. And the more money that you have of that kind circulating in the economy, the less money you have. It's just one of those bizarre phenomenons. And you have the parabolic rise of monetary output until it's a vertical line, at which time the currency unit is worth zero. Okay, as the line goes straight up, the dollar value will fall to nothing, and there will be alternatives to that. Because we have an economy that's political and centralized, we have apoplexy at the center, and we have in the extremities where we are here in Chattanooga, we have paralysis. So how can we overcome this paralysis? That's what my show is about. We are looking at solutions that we have here. People such as Ray Burnfin is a picture of that as well, and he is having a private fundraiser for a debt-saddled Walker County, and you can read the story about him this morning in this morning's editions, as I did with great interest, because he is a picture of a local solution. And on the David Toulis Show, that is what we're about: local solutions, where we're not relying on the good people for a solution. We're not waiting for someone else to act. We're not waiting for a vote. We are simply going to do what we have to do. What the market dictates that we do, that is what we're called to do. I would say under God, right? We're doing these things. at liberty in the marketplace. I was reading a story in Nuga.com a minute ago about the rentable electric scooters, which are a terrific concept. And yes, people will be hurt on those things, no doubt. As people are hurt in cars, people are hurt walking, people are hurt on bicycles and motorcycles. And the story has, you might say, the legacy paradigm, the legacy way of looking at things. And the lead says rentable scooters may soon be popping up on area streets after Chattanooga City Council members began considering the possibility of allowing companies to bring them here. Well, for one, just as Chattanooga did not allow LED billboards, it's not going to allow companies such as Bird and Lime, who are expanding their concept, from coming here. They are coming here, period. And the question is, will City Council get in the way, as it has gotten in the way of the internet through the Beijing wall around Chattanooga? We are the gig city, and yet City Council has raised, I should say, a digital wall around the city, forbidding hundreds of families from capitalizing on their stagnant asset, their homes, through short-term vacation rentals via platforms such as Airbnb. The number is 800-8949, 800-8949. So the quote again from Lamennais, the French philosopher, is centralization brings, write it down. It's a terrific quote. Write it down. Centralization brings apoplexy at the center and paralysis at the extremities. And that is a non-functioning, non-viable entity, right? That is a system which is not viable and will not continue. So what are we doing here? Seeing that concept playing in the national economy, which is highly centralized. Think about banking, right? I mentioned one sign of decentralization is in the banking sector. Well, we have a central bank which has absorbed, it is a private business that has taken on dodgy paper from the banking sector or the financial sector from 2008. It has taken on more than $3 trillion. How can a private company take on that much debt and list them at face value as assets? Okay, that's why it's that much. It may not be that big of a figure at $3 trillion. How can any single business, any single corporation have that many assets on its books? I mean, that's worth more than the state of Tennessee. But anyway, it's dodgy paper, bad debt that somehow is going to have to be sopped up, as they say, when the expansion, the monetary expansion, at some point in the future ends. How's it going to be all soaked back up? Well, it won't be, and that's why there's a crisis ahead, a national disaster just ahead. The name is David Toulis, and I'll let you report and let the world decide. The number is 800-8949, live on Facebook and live also on YouTube. I argue that you should love your neighbor and buy local and support my show at GoFundMe. That's GoFundMe, the David Toulis Show. Love your neighbor and buy local. One of the things that's come to my notice is the clamor, if you will, in even the daily press for reform of the jail economy, the jail industrial, the police industrial complex, right? The judicial industrial complex. And I said, well, let's start here in Hamilton County at the CAFR, C-A-F-R, which no journalist in Chattanooga ever cites. I'm not sure why, except me. CAFR is the term. And if you want to, this morning I thought, while I was thinking about getting together with you, should I post the CAFR on Nuganomics, our chief sponsor? It is, after all, something people have never seen, and maybe they won't know how to find it. So maybe I should have a little post that says, hey, here's the 2017 CAFR for Hamilton County, which I proceeded then, of course, to look into. I didn't actually post it at Nuganomics, our sponsor, but you can find it. Just type in your search window, go to DuckDuckGo as an alternative for the search window. Hamilton County CAFR. That's Hamilton County TNCAFR. That's the search term. And the jail does not figure prominently in this 224-page document. The jail is mentioned 7 times, and there are 6 mentions of corrections. Now, there's something to say about this system, which deserves reform. And my argument as a Christian, and my argument as a classical liberal, which means to say a free market person, right? The real conservative, right? I'm a real conservative, and the proper term is classical liberal. You know, Ludwig von Mises, Gary North type classical liberal. Murray Rothbard is pretty close too. And the thing that made me think to look into the CAFR this morning and to tell you just a little bit about the spending program for inmates is that there's a great injustice occurring in Chattanooga, and the story in the Times Free Press this morning about the arrival, the coming of a new court, a drug court it starts Tuesday in Hamilton County. The story is about this court, and what it evokes is really a care for the individual, which is uncommon in this way. The care for the individual is being proposed by administrative agencies and bureaucracies that are state-based, coercively funded, and an arm of the state, right? The state, remember, is the ministry of the sword. The church and the family, you could say, alternatively or conversely, are ministries of grace. They're ministries of grace where people learn their morals, people are educated, children are trained to be productive, obedient, respectful people looking out for others, right? That's what the home is about, is training future capitalists, future entrepreneurs, future inventors and providers and caretakers and future lovers, right? Future dads, future moms. That's where they all come from the home. And here in this story and in others, we have the sense that, well, we have to do more for these people who are drug addicted, they're addled, they are confused, they are the victims of the licensed marketing of licensed state organizations that are in the medical field, all of them operating by the state's leave. And they're addicts, and they're victims of their own covetings, you might say, their own moral problems, their own spiritual, their own theological deficiencies. Perhaps they don't understand God, they don't understand the sin problem, and so they don't know how to deal with these problems, and so they become addicted. Right? They become addicted. They become criminal, petty thievery, prostitution, drug, narcotics, trafficking. To make a little money to get ahead, you become a trafficker and provider for others who have the same hang up as you do. And so the jail is crowded with people like that, and people who do not govern themselves, right? They're not self-governing. And when I say that, I want you to know one thing here on the David Tulin Show. We are a pro-government station, highly, highly pro-government. And I say that because I really believe that government should be bound by the law of the Constitution first, and the law of statute, is insofar as we have laws that are written out by men in their positivist law schemes, which is what they have. They've replaced the common law, the sort of unwritten biblical-based common law. They have their very wordy multi-volume sets of laws. Okay, well, let's just accept that's fine. Let the state now obey that system, okay, which it refuses to do at many points. There's a great deal of lawlessness by the law enforcers of our city, of our state. What can we do to encourage obedience to these laws? So I'm pro-government, but people who are addicted to medications, addicted to medicines, alcohol, even, they are not governing themselves, right? They're not pro-government when it comes to their own persons, and so they get caught up in the judicial industrial complex. Now, in Knox County, there's a proposal regarding the jail. I just want to mention this essay by the executive editor of the Knoxville Sentinel, just in passing. And yeah, the number, you can call the number, sure, absolutely. 800-8949, 800-8949. That's 800-8949. Download us, by the way, at Next Radio, the app for your phone. And just type in Nuga, and you can hear us on the actual signal, the actual radio signal on your phone. The phones have been unlocked now, and you may hear us there. And we're brought to you by Rooter Pros, by the way. Great plumbing outfit in North Georgia. Rooter Pros. Make sure you call Rooter Pros for anything that you might need. Well, we'll get back to this account of Sheriff Tom Spangler, new sheriff in Rock County. Just a quick word about the jail. 33% of the people in the jail in Hamilton County are there because they're too poor to make bail. And sometimes the amount of money at issue is $100. Why is this happening? And where are Christian people to be the answer, to be the deacons to help out?
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga police confirmed a juvenile was shot on East 14th Street. Reports say he was shot in the stomach. Hamilton County EMS responded to the scene, transported the victim to a local hospital. Chattanooga police working to find a suspect. If you have any info, give them a call. A pickup truck slammed into a home on Saturday morning. Reports say a Brainerd family was rudely awakened, shocked to discover a truck embedded in the base of their home. Responding firefighters towed the truck from the scene, covered the hole, but the homeowners will need a new place to stay. Cops on the scene arrested the driver for DUI. And Chattanooga police confirmed 64-year-old Karen Saxton was killed in a car crash on Highway 58. Reports say two cars collided when one pulled out in front of the other. The other driver was hospitalized. New reports confirm Ms. Saxton was a teacher at Westview Elementary. Counselors were called in to help the students cope with the loss. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Cash, cash, cash, and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
Let's face it, Old Faithful isn't as faithful as it used to be. Constant repairs are a hassle and can rack up quick in money and time. Landers McClarty Ford can fix that. Right now, you can get a 2016 Ford Focus, 34,000 miles, only $11,491. A 2017 Chevy Spark with only 17,000 miles for less than $12,000. A 2015 Volkswagen Jetta with less than 21,000 miles for $11,991. Yeah, browse their entire inventory of new and new-to-you cars, trucks, and SUVs online at Landers McCarty Ford at FortPayne.com. Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. If you can't find your next perfect ride, they'll go find it for you. Big city selection, small town prices, friendly service, and top dollar for your trade. The savings are waiting and only a short drive away, so what are you waiting for? Get started with your personalized shopping today at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com.
Join Nuga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
It's that time of year again. For the 7th year, Wings Over North Georgia Air Show will be Saturday, October the 13th, and Sunday, October the 14th. You'll see some of our government's finest assets flying in the world today. The rarely seen Air Combat F-22 Raptor demo team and the A-10 Warthog will both headline the show, along with Tora, which is the reenactment of Pearl Harbor to include pyrotechnics. Patty Wagstaff and Michael Goulian, both world aerobatic champions, will be showing off their amazing skills, along with numerous other aviation rock stars. On the ground, you'll be able to experience military static displays and even have an opportunity to ride in a Huey or Cobra helicopter. Wings Over North Georgia is an action-packed way to spend a weekend with your family. You can even camp on the grounds. The Richard B. Russell Regional Airport is the place for all the action on October the 13th and the 14th. For tickets and camping reservations, visit wingsovernorthgeorgia.com.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need AMCO Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. AMCO Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet Way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
It's got lots of clouds with scattered showers and storms likely out there through your afternoon as they'll head in from the south and west. Highs closer to 80. Tonight, a few lingering showers, lows near 68. For Tuesday, only spotty showers, highs into the lower 80s with more showers and storms likely Wednesday. Control your diabetes with the help of Hamilton Diabetes and Endocrinology Center. Now in Dalton and Ringgold. For more, their number 706-278-1622. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Pat Report.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Now, the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, Tennessee, David Toulis.
Not necessarily more jail space, more rooms at the inn at Silverdale Correctional Facility run by Corrections Corporation of America. We don't need more jail space. We need to have fewer arrests. And there are several reasons that you can argue for and predict fewer arrests. One, I'd like to suggest that in the out years, there'll be fewer arrests under transportation administrative notice when the system finally corrects itself, which is what the notice is intended to do. It is intended to allow policing activities under the transportation statute only to apply only, I should say, to transportation activities, not to private users of the road, and have a new question at every traffic stop in all jurisdictions that agree finally to maintain their federal funding and maintain a clean slate with the Justice Department and enforce the traffic laws only upon traffic and not upon private use. And you'll have fewer arrests there. I wanted to, I did a check this morning. The arrest, the 46 people arrested in the past day by reported at Chattanooga.com, and I went through and kind of sifted through those faces there. All of them dolorous in expression, right? There's dolor, sadness, blankness on these the expressions of these people under arrest, and we need to have fewer arrests, and therefore that the jail crowding problem will go away. Okay, we don't have to have more jails; we have to have fewer jails. Fewer bars, and that's because we don't believe in slavery, right? Slavery, we think, has been abolished, and yet slavery, as we well know, though we don't think about it, is a state-run industry now. We don't have private slaves; we have state slavery, and we have temporary slavery, temporary serfdoms among people who are arrested by Hamilton County and arrested by Chattanooga City Police, and even the corporation officers in, say, East Ridge and Red Bank and Saudi Daisy. They send their temporary slaves down to the county, the award-winning county hellhole downtown. That's where they go, and some stay there for weeks and weeks and weeks. They're too poor to make the bail to pay the bondsman or to come up with the cash or the cash equivalent entitled assets to pay the judge, assure the judge that they will show up for their hearing. So we have a justice problem. And I know it sounds kind of confusing because I've got we're talking about the drug court, we're talking about the jail crowding, and the need for fewer arrests, and then Title 55. It's all kind of mixed up. And please forgive me for throwing these things sort of irresolutely together and not figuring out what the main point is. But well, there are 2 points. One is the diaconal role that seems to be being foisted by us as the public upon the political and legal administration of courts and sheriff's departments, and those are diaconal functions. Those are functions of ministry of grace for people who are addicted to drugs and who need help. They don't need punishment. They need encouragement and accountability, and I'd say the gospel message. They don't need to be in a cell with others where they can't prepare a defense. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their home life. They've left family members and dependents in the lurch because they're too poor to make bail, and they have a drug addiction or they have a mental health problem. These are spiritual issues, right? These are issues that call for the diaconate, the Christian deacon, and the church person to intervene, right? We need to have an intervention that, well, as we've explained elsewhere and at other times, there's a reason that intervention is not happening. It is a theological mistake, but there are reasons for it. But I would still, nonetheless, David Toulis here, your host at 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. I would call for an intervention, right? The state is always intervening in our business, right? We have a state program for this. We have a state licensing scheme for that. We have a new control, a new limit, a new compulsion. The state is always intervening against us and helping us, right? Well, maybe Christian people, maybe the church, maybe churches, boards of deacons, boards of elders, governing bodies through their church functions or through their corporations can say we are ready to get to work and help out because the state is incompetent and it simply ruins lives and embitters the people and has a training ground, right? Prison is a training ground for crime, and jails also where the dissolute and those who are there sort of by accident, right? There by some petty theft or some bad check scheme or something that is not that is reparable is connected with someone who is a murderer or a rapist. Do we need that kind of affiliation? The editor at Knoxville Sentinel has a column, and he quotes the new sheriff in Knox County, Sheriff Tom Spangler, saying, are we going to continue putting people on the floors? We have regulations. That's not a great combination of quotes there, but he's pointing out that the jail in Knox County is supposed to hold 1,036 inmates, the Roger D. Wilson Detention Facility, and it is at 20% overage. And the people there are mostly, not mostly, but 80% of the people in the system were awaiting arraignment last week. Of those, 40% were incarcerated on misdemeanors. So most everybody in the Knox County Jail is there awaiting a hearing. Why are they there? What reason? Just because we have in the Constitution a fair and allowable bond and bail is allowed, does that mean that everybody has to be bailed? That everybody has to make a bond? No, it doesn't mean that. And yet somehow the custom is, because their industry interest in having an industry that pays, that makes a profit, skimming off of the poor and the defendants to make their bond. We have a system in place where everybody has to go to a bond. Everybody in front of the magistrate has to make bond. You have to come up with the money, or you have to pay the capitalist his 10%. And the editor here, his name is John McElroy. He says, advocates for change argue that the cash bond system is inherently unfair. The rich can afford to pay bonds. The middle class can pay bondsmen, but the poor must stay locked up, often losing homes, jobs, families as a result. So why do we have this system? And they're among people who are not even Christians, perhaps there is an interest in changing this. And I would suggest that Christian people need to connect their review of justice, the justice requirements in the Bible, to the situation here on the ground. And my name is David Toulis, and the number is 800-8949, 800-8949. Did you see the story in the paper this morning, just by the way, about the Mountain City Club under pressure to sell its nice buildings downtown to the neighbor, which are hoteliers. Byron DeFore is proposing to buy out the whole building at 729 Chestnut Street. It's a 27,000 square foot, 3-level structure. The CEO, let's see, Dan Salid, the president of this private club, tells the Times Free Press, our building was originally designed to support approximately twice the current membership, but because of fixed expenses, the increased need for maintenance, he says, and significantly lower revenue, he tells the newspaper, the club finds itself in a precarious financial situation, down to 300 members from 700 earlier. 100 members were gained in 2015, but it's really not enough. And the group, which is a civil society organization, is looking for cheaper quarters that are more commensurate with the size of its membership, about 300 people now. And I'd say that the end of clubs like that, the end of civic organizations, even in the Masonic world, the Freemasons lodges are peopled by men in their 50s and 60s. They've seen better days, and of course, the whole world has been sort of converted to Freemasonry without realizing it. And so the clubs with their oaths and aprons and funny caps don't really seem to be very necessary anymore, since that theory, that progressive theory of the world, that sort of eclectic and syncretistic theory of God, even is absorbed by and taught by public school. We don't need Masons to teach us that there are many gods and we just have to pick the one we want to serve. That we don't need Masons for that. We have the public school. But groups like that, the city club downtown, are fading because of this drive toward decentralization, and the digital economy is making people less connected and more, you might say, more detached. And so there's less interest, perhaps, in the population in that kind of connection. The number is 800-8949, 800-8949, 800-8949. Now, the budget for the county jail it gets minimal treatment in the annual report for the county last year, from June 2016 to June 30, 2017. That's the last full financial accounting of the county, with not everything you want to know there, but a lot of what matters. The things that are not included, I'd say, is the long-term liability that the county has taken on for infrastructure. That I don't think that's in there. But the jail is mentioned 7 times. Corrections is mentioned 6 times in a 224-page document. Costs for the jail in 2017 are at Silverdale are up 19%, or $2.7 million. Jim Coppinger, the county mayor, mentions the jail in passing in his initial essay. He says the increase in funding allowed us, et cetera, the new sewage treatment plant, and to address the jail overcrowding issues without spending $130 million on a new jail facility. We strongly believe it is important to have low property taxes, et cetera. Well, that's good. I mean, the fact that the county, that Jim Coppinger turned away from the idea of building more, investing more, spending more taxpayer dollars, having more county debt, more county bonds for jail, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. And so we want to commend Jim Coppinger for that. The jail is under the oversight of the sheriff, and the operating budget is $12.44 million. And let's see, hold on just a second. I printed out a summary chart of the net position of the county, and the county has $206.1 million in revenues in the county budget. That's the total revenues, including from taxes. Total taxes is $152.2 million. Intergovernmental is less than I thought. It's just under $30 million. So 30 million versus, so it's 5 times the tax take of county government is 5x the state and federal intergovernmental revenues. Okay, so that's good to know that. I thought it was more. And then there are other fines and forfeitures is, again, that's an income. That's $1.9 million. Miscellaneous income is $4 million. So the total revenues for the county in the budgetary comparison schedule is $206 million in expenditures. Now here I'm going and I'm looking on expenditures on down through all kinds of things from the mailroom. The mailroom is $444,000. Okay. Employee benefits are $4.09 million. Recycling is $351,000. The jail has one line in the sheriff in the sheriff administration's area of the budget. Is on page C3. I'm not sure where, about page 150 or 160, somewhere in there. The jail has a budget. The final budget was $12.44 million. Patrol, by the way, expenses are $11 million. Civil process, the passing on of warrants and subpoenas and so on, that's $652,000. And special operations is $1.1 million in expenditures. The total public safety outlay for the county is $89 million. So that's kind of the financial picture of the county. And so what we want to find out, or what we want to think about, are a couple of things. One is there a way we can reduce arrests by focusing on real crimes and not crimes that are not, you might say, not biblical crimes, right? That would be crimes that are under intent. The Bible standard for justice is that there's not a crime like murder if there's not intent. Okay, otherwise you have an offense which can be paid for, an offense which can be awarded the victim survivors by compensation. That is the idea of justice. The Bible has an equity have always in view the victim being fully restored as much as possible, though of course that life cannot be brought back. There are such things as accidents. There are such things as accidents with some contributory negligence involved. If there was negligence, then that would tend to raise the amount of money that the survivors could demand from the buying the life, if you will, of the perpetrator, the man who caused the death. He buys his life back for more if there is negligence involved in his act of killing somebody, right? In what we would call manslaughter or an accidental killing apart from intent, right? That we have many laws. The Tennessee law requires intent for every crime. Okay, got that? If someone accuses you of a crime, go first to the intent statute and see what it says, because the charge will probably not even mention intent, but every intent has to be proved in every element of a crime in Tennessee. Every element of a crime has to have intent. If you have multiple charges against you, the state has to argue and prove intent. Okay, so some of the charges that we have given for people under arrest have no intent. For example, failure to appear. How can that be a criminal matter? Failure to appear in court. There's no intent involved there. That is simply a scheduling problem. And reform that we are hearing about in different parts of the country would say we're not going to have a bail bond system. We have simply the court assisting people, helping people get to court, and reminder calls. We'll even come to get you. We'll even come to get you to make your court date. We don't have any more the jailing of people. We can have empty rooms in the county jail. We can even rent out. We can make some of the jail cells in the county jail Airbnb pads. Okay, this would be, you might say, a budget Airbnb in part of the jail that's no longer used. Why is it no longer used? Because Jim Hammond and David Roddy, the chief of police of Chattanooga, and other chiefs of police are getting wise about the intent statute. They're not going to prosecute anybody apart from intent. And they're also going to obey Title 55, which means that there'll be fewer arrests under the provisions of Title 55, and that statute will be applied only, or should be applied to only, commercial users of the road. And the diaconate, if these things happen, don't forget, there'll be probably a parallel movement in Christianity, I would like to suggest, where Christian people are stepping forward and saying, we are here to help. We are here to bring encouragement and resources to the lives of people who clearly need encouragement, and they clearly have a need for repentance and God's grace. And we're here to tell them about that. If God chooses to save any one of them, he will, using what we have to say, using our gracious acts of mercy. And we want people to be restored in God's grace, restored to themselves, even, right? When you have psychological problems, you are at war with yourself, and that is because you have rejected in some way God's created order, and you've rejected God in some way as a solution, as a standard by which you think your way to a better life and better relations with your wife, your ex-wife, your estranged children, your parents, your neighbor, even your enemy. Those are the things that the gospel promises, and we want there to be. We want those opportunities to be multiplied in front of churchgoers here in Chattanooga. We want those opportunities to be multiplied where they can be useful to real people, and not simply, as many Christians are, they are hypochondriacal, but they are hypochondriacs. They're constantly worried about their own problems. They're constantly thinking about their own walk with God, and they're so preoccupied with their own sins and their own problems that they never think to raise a finger to help other people. Now, is that? Do you see where I'm going? I'm sorry. There's kind of a lot there, and I'm not nailing any one thing down. It's kind of all in pencil, right? The wind is blowing. It's raining outside, and if there's a little bit of wind, you can see my argument is flapping a bit in the breeze, a little uncontrollably, perhaps. The number is 800-8949, 800-8949. Now, I did a quick scan of the arrest report. And when I get to that, here on the David Tour Show, the number is 800-891-1008. When I'm brought to you by Rooted Pros, who are glad I've covered some stories while we have those people in that business. The name is David Tour. Check out my GoFundMe page. If you like my show and think I'm providing a real benefit to you and other people, do look at me, GoFundMe.com. David Tour Listener Radio.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga police confirmed a juvenile was shot on East 14th Street. Reports say he was shot in the stomach. Hamilton County EMS responded to the scene, transported the victim to a local hospital. Chattanooga police working to find a suspect. If you have any info, give them a call. A pickup truck slammed into a home on Saturday morning. Reports say a Brainerd family was rudely awakened, shocked to discover a truck embedded in the base of their home. Responding firefighters towed the truck from the scene, covered the hole, but the homeowners will need a new place to stay. Cops on the scene arrested the driver for DUI. And Chattanooga police confirmed 64-year-old Karen Saxton was killed in a car crash on Highway 58. Reports say two cars collided when one pulled out in front of the other. The other driver was hospitalized. New reports confirm Ms. Saxton was a teacher at Westview Elementary. Counselors were called in to help the students cope with the loss. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7. Nuga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of clouds with scattered showers and storms likely out there through your afternoon as they'll head in from the south and west. Highs closer to 80. Tonight, a few lingering showers, lows near 68. For Tuesday, only spotty showers, highs into the lower 80s with more showers and storms likely Wednesday. Control your diabetes with the help of Hamilton Diabetes and Endocrinology Center, now in Dalton and Ringgold. For more, the number 706-278-1622. And I'm SOAR Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Pat Report.
Radio 92.7.
My ex recently hacked my email and my social media, and it really caused me some problems. I changed all my passwords, which helped, but I'm still getting trolled, maybe even stalked. I know it's him. I just can't prove it.
My business, well, it's been broken into twice already. I've got cameras, but that only helps after the fact. I'd rather prevent it from happening in the first place.
Unity One East is your solution to these and many other security concerns. With private investigation, security services, and backed by decades of real-life experience in military and law enforcement, Unity One East is your instant contact for security, investigation, and consultation to help protect you, your family, and your business. No 1-800 number, no red tape, no wait, because Unity One East is local and available 24/7. Reclaim your peace of mind. Call Unity One East, 475-6206, 475-6206.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Rains Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location. And the Rains Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will be able to suit your needs with the Rains Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Rains Group.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7.
Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio.
More into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric, you're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by ZipRecruiter.
I'm Jim Shanavy. Will he stay or will he go? Questions about Rod Rosenstein's future as Deputy Attorney General amid reports he had discussed ways to remove President Trump from office over incompetence. Rosenstein had a meeting today with Chief of Staff John Kelly and is expected to meet Thursday with the president. CBS's Paula Reed.
He's still the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, as he was when he woke up this morning, and it looks like he will be until Thursday. So it's interesting to me that he was already expected to be at the White House for a cabinet level meeting.
The possibility that Rosenstein could be fired has some in Congress looking at ways to protect special counsel Robert Mueller. CBS political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns.
The question I have as of today, even though Rod Rosenstein does remain the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, does this prompt lawmakers to revisit this legislation and say, this is no longer quite a hypothetical. We've had a little bit of a fire drill this week, if we can call it that. And so do we need to have something in place to place some parameters around the Mueller probe?
The president is at the United Nations in New York for the General Assembly. He took time to reaffirm his support for his Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, amid a second sex-related allegation, this one from college.
Judge Kavanaugh is an outstanding person, and I am with him all the way. We'll see how it goes with the Senate. We'll see how it goes with the vote. I think it could be, there's a chance that this could be one of the single most unfair, unjust things to happen to a candidate for anything.
The sentencing hearing for comedian Bill Cosby got underway today near Philadelphia. He was found guilty of sex assault back in April. Correspondent Jerika Duncan.
The judge could sentence Cosby to as many as 10 years in prison for each of the 3 counts he was convicted of, for a possible total of 30 years, although state guidelines call for a base 22 to 36 months behind bars. Now, Cosby's lawyers are expected to request to keep the 81-year-old at home because of his age and health problems.
Flooding related to Hurricane Florence continues to be a major problem in the Carolinas, and there are some new evacuations. Brian Brown lives in Socastee, South Carolina.
Yesterday morning, it was just in the driveway. So within 24 hours, this is what happened. I have 3 inches of water in my house, and this is not only the beginning. It's supposed to get a lot worse.
Some 8,000 people have been evacuated in Georgetown, South Carolina, where officials expect record flooding of up to 10 feet. In North Carolina, the Cape Fear River is expected to crest and remain at flood stage for several days. And parts of Interstate 40 are expected to remain flooded for another week or more. Right now on Wall Street, the Dow is down 163. This is CBS News.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for businesses of all sizes. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
CBS Tonight, it's the beginning of the end.
What? There we go.
Be there for the start of Big Bang's final season. No.
Yes. No. Yes.
Get ready to celebrate the biggest season in Bang's history.
You seem testy this morning.
Not tested.
I'll have to take your word for it. There's no test for testy.
The Big Bang Theory's final season begins.
That was weird, right? I honestly can't tell anymore.
Followed by the season premiere of Young Sheldon, CBS Tonight.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
One of the world's biggest diet companies rebranding itself with a new focus on overall health.
Say so long to Weight Watchers and hello to WW. The company is rebranding to focus less on short-term diet fixes and more on health and wellness. It's getting a new logo, a new color palette, eliminating all things artificial, and in a nod to high tech, introducing a voice-activated app. It'll let subscribers check their points using Amazon's Alexa and Google Assistant. WW Fit Points will reward high intensity and strength training more. The new program, Wellness Wins, launches October 4th. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
There's a new corn maze cut into a field near Oklahoma City, but it's unlike any you've seen before. This corn maze is cut in the likeness of Thomas P. Stafford, the 88-year-old Stafford, a local hero, a former NASA astronaut, and of course, it's best to appreciate this corn maze from space. Jim Shenevy, CBS News.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A woman was kidnapped, carjacked, and beaten. The Chattanooga police have confirmed it happened on East 34th Street, where 4 armed men forced a woman into her car and made her drive around town. They dumped her on the side of the road and attempted to set her on fire, according to her testimony, which they failed. She contacted the police, who began their investigation. Police arrested 18-year-old Gordon Ray. Now they're trying to find the 3 other assailants. A fiery car wreck on Highway 58 claimed the life of an elementary school teacher. Chattanooga police confirmed Karen Saxton was killed in that wreck on Highway 58 when she collided with another vehicle. The driver of the other car was hospitalized. A juvenile was shot in the stomach on 14th Street and rushed to the hospital, where he's expected to make a full recovery. Chattanooga police trying to track down the gunman. If you know who did it, call 911. Retrial for former pilot president Mark Hazelwood was denied by a federal judge. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of clouds with scattered showers and storms likely out there through your afternoon as they'll head in from the south and west. Highs closer to 80. Tonight, a few lingering showers, lows near 68. For Tuesday, only spotty showers, highs into the lower 80s with more showers and storms likely Wednesday. Control your diabetes with the help of Hamilton Diabetes and Endocrinology Center. Now in Dalton and Ringgold. For more, their number 706-278-1622. And I'm Snore Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Patrick 4.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
You hear that? That's the sound of power. The call of the open road. That is the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. More than a bike, it's an experience and an American icon. And the place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. Ready to answer that call? Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Nicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
If you want to discover the real hope for your life through inspirational music, relevant messages, and testimonies from others who have already found hope, then we encourage you to visit the 2nd annual My Hope Conference, October 7th through 9th at Hickson First Baptist Church. Free admission and childcare is provided for kids up to pre-K, while those in kindergarten through 5th grade will attend the Kids Hope Rally. For more info, visit myhopeconference.com or call Hickson First Baptist Church at 423-877-2467.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Now, the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, Tennessee, David Toulis.
Accounting season is just about to begin, and we are in contact right now with a party that can get short-term men and women to work the books, do the accounting for you and your business. This is David Toulis, and I'm glad you're giving me just a couple minutes of your time. We're here at 800-8949. That's 800-8949, trying to boost local economy. We are loco-centrists. I'm Dr. Nuga-centric, as they say, because I believe whimsically and yet very seriously that Chattanooga is the center of the universe, and the whole world, you might say geocentrically, the whole universe circles around us here, and that's just how it appears to us. We are to be forgiven this slight fault, but it is nonetheless something that we understand is part of the human being as he is fixed in space and in time. Sean Slaughter and his partner Ire Tavucu, who is a Turk, run a business called Watcep here in Chattanooga, and we want to hear from them what they're doing using online networks, and hear a pitch to people like you here in Chattanooga of what they can do to bring folks from other countries to work in your business. There are people who, in a limited access program, can come to the United States to work for up to 18 months. And Watcep, which is an online recruiting platform, is here to help get those people into your business or into your nonprofit organization here in Chattanooga. The name is David Toulis, and I argue that near is better than far, small is better than big, simple than complex. And in the footnotes at 5-point type, I suggest that personal is better than corporate and that physical is better than abstract. We are focusing on local economy every day, how to make local economy more prosperous. One area of review and reporting is the offenses against liberty and the offenses against the rule of law that make people live in fear, especially in the lesser parts of the local economy. That would be the poorer districts, the poorer areas where there's not a lot of hope and at best part-time employment, and there the people are scraping by. But higher up in the economy are people like you, perhaps my listener. And Sean, Sean Slaughter, what is your program about? What can you do for local economy here through Watcep?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having us. We truly appreciate this platform to be able to share our story. So what we do, you alluded to it earlier, we specialize in adding diversity to Chattanooga's workforce through professional cultural exchange programs. So basically what that means is we match that international talent with the needs of our employers, of our city, of our economy, and try to find that perfect match and add that diversity to the city that's, we need it. We need that diversity to boost our economy, different thought processes, different learning styles, and then just facilitate growth.
Well, are there certain countries that are ideal for this short-term relocation here, or would any of how many economies are we talking about? How many countries? 100 countries? 150 countries?
It's open to any country, but specifically right now, because of the turmoil in the Middle East, we don't really recruit to them. So right now we're pushing South America, Caribbean countries. We have just yesterday, a young lady from the Netherlands reached out to us. So we're looking strategically as to say who wants to participate and then vetting it from there. But we are global, but we do kind of try to mitigate the ones that might be more challenging for those visas to get here.
Well, tell my listener, Ire Tavucu, how it is you all started your company in July of 2017.
Yeah, so...
Thanks, David. So, I'm one of the co-founders of Watcep, and back in 2010, I was actually part of this program, and I was fortunate enough to be part of this program to come to the States.
What program is that?
It's called the J1 visa
The
program.
J1 visa program.
Through the J1 visa, and I was actually a trainee, and I was here in the States for about 18 months, and in the field that I was in with the electrical engineering. And I just want to share the same experience with other candidates who actually can have shared the same value that I did and have the same outstanding experience that I did by providing the outstanding international talents for the U.S. employers.
Well, for whom did you work, E-Ray, while you were in the program, the J1 program?
Whenever I came back in 2010, I was working at Ober-Gatlinburg in Gatlinburg. I was over there electrical technician, and it was about 18 months.
All right, so you went back to Turkey,
Mhm.
and how is it that you came back to the Chattanooga area, E-Ray?
Well, it starts actually back in 2007, right? So I came same type of program, J1 visa programs, and I was still a college student back in then. And I had to go back after 3 months, and that's how I decided to come back in 2010 with different J1 visa programs that we right now provide for about 18 months. And after that, the process takes longer if you want to stay permanently in the States, which we don't facilitate that kind of help. However, it is possible for the U.S. employers, if they want to keep the participants longer than the program allows.
So the employer, if he wants to keep a certain man, let's say you from Turkey, you're have an engineering background. If he wants to keep you, he has to help you get sort of out of the J1 program and into another program.
Yes.
Sean?
So the J program, it's a student visa pretty much. So if you want to keep one of our participants past that 18-month barrier, you then have to become a sponsor, and it's an H-1B visa, and there's a lot more associated with that, as E-Ray stipulated. We don't facilitate that. Our objective and our mission is to get these J participants here to help with a 6 to 18-month program that employers need.
And those are almost always people in their late teens, early 20s, and they're mostly students.
So
Sean?
you have, in order to participate in an internship through the J visa, you have to have a 4-year college degree. If you are a trainee, it's the same type of program, but it's for people that graduated 12 months or later and have 1 year experience in that work field.
And how is it you two came together as partners?
E-Ray and
Tell
I,
the story.
yeah, we met probably 5 years ago through where we currently work, and he was a top performer. I am a high-level manager in a specific company, and we met, and then he got a promotion to the Chattanooga market from Knoxville, and ever since then, he and I have thought, we want to do something to make a difference. And he had the heartstrings about the students. I have heartstrings in the business industry, and I just wanted to see how we could do this, and we kind of combined forces, and here we are at Watcep.
So your business operates on the side as a side gig, and you have employment elsewhere.
Correct.
Sean.
Correct.
Is that full-time employment
It's
elsewhere?
full-time, yes, sir.
Okay, so and what about you, E-Ray? Are you employed elsewhere, and this Watcep platform is on the side, or is this
Correct? Same. Mhm.
Okay, now just my listeners wondering what Watcep mean. Is that a word from Turkey where E-Ray Tavucu is from? And well, no, it's not. It's not a European word. It means work and travel cultural exchange program. That's Watcep is WATCEP, and that's the name of their business. So you are doing what I suggested that my listener do is have his employment where you have the regular paycheck and you're doing something that's more or less satisfying to you. But you have something on the side, which as you build it and develop it, will come eventually to replace your full-time job elsewhere.
That's the dream.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gathering that your asset, your main asset here is knowledge on how things work and not really capital. You doesn't sound like you needed to have $100,000 or $200,000 to start your business. Probably much less than that.
Correct.
Just to start,
Correct.
right, Sean Slaughter?
Yes, sir.
Well, the thing is that we have something that $200,000 wouldn't buy. We have a passion about this program, and we love the city that we live. Both Sean and I, we were not born and raised in Chattanooga, but we are here because we love the city, because of the support of the community for the entrepreneurship.
Well, say a little bit more about that, E-Ray. What made you? What facts? What experiences, may I ask, brought you to that conclusion that you love Chattanooga and you want to stay here? Say something about your experiences.
the biggest thing for me is the people's approach. People are very open-minded. They are very welcoming. Doesn't matter what background you are from, doesn't matter what you do, who you are. As long as you do the right things and hard worker, you will go to top. There's no question. And the other thing is that we are 2 hours away from the major cities such as Atlanta and Nashville. We are like a middle hub. We are like a bridge for those big cities. And we don't have that traffic that they have in Atlanta and Nashville. You cannot beat that.
And cost of living.
True.
Well, the cost of living, I would say, would be no tax on wages. The state is taxed on so-called incomes, or bank interest and dividends is being phased out. There's no death tax. Tennessee is viewed as very business friendly. Its licensing scheme, they're innumerable. It's very bad for having commissions that control occupations. Those are under a review now under a new law. So the market will be, there's more freedom in the marketplace than there will be more in the future. I suspect. So those are all things that are kind of business friendly. And you're thinking, İre Tavucu from Turkey, that Chattanooga is a place where you want to stay, at least for now, and sort of use and make the most of that sort of local entrepreneurial atmosphere.
That's right. And as everybody knows, that Chattanooga is a growing city, and being part of something growing is priceless.
Well, Sean, what is your take on this? The love for Chattanooga. You say you're not from Chattanooga. What makes you think that it's good to be here? And since you are an internet business, you could really be anywhere. What constitutes the main facts that you stand upon to say, well, I like it here in Chattanooga, Sean?
I don't have the global background that İre does, coming from Turkey. I was born in the New England area, up in New Jersey. Grew up in Knoxville, so it's close to home enough to see the parents if I need to. But Chattanooga is just very welcoming. İre talked about that, but you can get connected in this city. You can get connected in the city to the right people just by asking. It's a very friendly, welcoming, entrepreneurial atmosphere. We've had a lot of great mentors that have helped us kind of get off the ground. Shout out to Marco Perez, AJ Willis. Those two come to mind that they really helped us from the get-go without anything in return. They did not want anything from us.
This is David Toulis. We do thank you for tuning into our show, The David Toulis Show. We're 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. Make sure you take note that on Thursday at 7 at the Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore, there's the Gridiron Gang Show. It's a live show all about high school football that our sports greats are participating in. Often coaches come by and they'll sip a coffee and talk about the local situation. It's every Thursday night, all season long, at the Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. That is brought to you by Vision Hospitality Group. And my name is David Toulis, and we're brought to you by Reuters Plus and also Nuganomics.com. Make sure you take time to look at Nuganomics. There's a response to an essay that I posted this morning about the modern state, and the argument that I make there is that the modern state, effectively at war with its own people, is busy about trying to make them public persons as opposed to private persons. That's something that you may not have thought much about, but state government and especially the federal government and the large political and national economy are all about turning human beings into corporations and sort of controlling them through their corporate statuses. So there's a discussion about that. And I wanted to mention specifically the response by the Gnome of Strawberry Plains. He has a response to that, and also discussion about sessions courts and traffic cases that end up there. Read what he does and how he views that whole encounter. One kind of encounter that I thought a great deal about. Now we're talking with Sean Slaughter and his partner, co-founder of a new company, relatively new company called Watcep. It was founded in July of 2017. It's an online recruiting platform for visitors from other countries. The name Watcep is an acronym for Work and Travel Cultural Exchange Program. And Sean, let me ask you about the J-1 visa program. The Department of State says that the number of visas total in that category is a very tiny number, 300,000. The people who apply for entry to the country in various categories through that system is just very 200 countries have apply very limited access. Discuss that, and how is the Trump administration better or worse than what was before under Obama?
Yeah, so the current administration, it does have its challenges with us founding this company just last year. Actually, I think 300,000 is a little high. I think it's a little bit smaller than that, actually about 50% smaller than that with the candidates that can come through a J visa. And again, a lot of entities, let me back up. There's a lot of companies similar to ours. We are different because we're an online platform, but this is not a new theory idea. It's been around since the 60s. We're just trying to modernize the way people recruit, people engage. If a participant, one of the students, needs instant access, that's what online is for. We can get them instant feedback. So,
well, doesn't everybody in your field do the same thing now? How is it that you're different from other businesses that help foreigners come here for short term?
Sure, I think more so than anything, it's that personal touch. It's that accessibility. Our platform is driven for the consumer. So a lot of, if you go on and Google work and travel, anything on the internet, it's going to be antiquated websites, hard to navigate.
Like government websites.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, all right. So say something about the kind of people who've come here. When I clicked Tennessee on the Department of State website, I couldn't find that anybody had come to Saudi Daisy. It goes by zip code. Come through that program to Saudi Daisy's zip code, where it's just one small area. But
right.
what kind of visitors are here, as far as you can tell, on the J1 visa, the student visa?
Sure. Have you been to Gatlinburg before?
Yes.
Okay. So probably a lowball estimate, 70% of the people that live in Gatlinburg are J participant students, such as E-Ray back here. So the tourism community really thrives on these J visas, and bigger cities do. So we're trying to take that idea and put it in our community and then scale from there.
Well, Gatlinburg, I'm thinking of the service industry. Those are not high-end kind of jobs that would require an engineering degree, which I believe, E-Ray, do you have an engineering degree?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
That you're a kind of high-level worker. People who work in Gatlinburg, that's not a high-level kind of worker, is it?
Right.
No, you're correct. And E-Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these participants, there's a third layer to these J programs, and it's a work and travel. It's a 3-month program. That's what I was alluding to. So these 12 to 18-month programs that we specialize in, you can have any background, and we will try to facilitate those needs for that. And you, like you said, electrical engineering, social engineering with these new websites, web data development. We facilitate any of those needs as well.
Well, tell us about one of the people who's come through your program and where she or he is now.
Well, I'll talk about, because your sponsor was Vision Hospitality Group. That is one of our partners as well. We currently have 3 participants from Jamaica that are doing that. Their background is hospitality management. Vision saw the need for the diversity component and also wanting to help the community. That's why they partnered with us. And we have them there. They've been here for 4 months now? 3 months?
Yeah, it's been over 3 months.
And what kind of management do they do in this hotel business?
So Vision actually wrote an entire hospitality platform called a Troop Leader for these candidates that was unique and new to their industry. They do 4 phases, so 3-month, 3-month, 3-month, 3-month roles of management, then concierge, there's housekeeping management, there's front of desk, there's food and beverage. So they do the whole gambit of hospitality management.
So the people that came through your business, Sean Slaughter, manage how many people maximum on each one of those categories?
With these participants, we have 3 through our program.
In Vision Hospitality for a time, managing how many people? Housekeeping is, how big a staff is that?
It depends on that role they're on. So it can be 2 to 5 or double digits.
This is David Toulis, and make sure that you point out to you that every Thursday at the Starbucks in North Shore, 10 North, there is the Gridiron Gang Show. And also want to give a plug for the Got You Covered show, which is every Saturday with Scott Schrader at 10 a.m. It's our newest program. We've Got You Covered Radio, and the show is about running a home, managing a home, repairing, fixing a home, adding to a house, whether it's repairs or estimates or roofs or what have you. There are all kinds of people who come on the program with Scott, experts in their field, to clue you in as to how to make the most of probably your largest investment. And this is David Toulis. That show is brought to you by Chattanooga roofing contractors. And I argue that near is better than far, small than big, and simple than complex. That's the Nooga-centric theory. And in the footnotes, a 5-point type in Helvetica, which of course is the font without the serif, the neutral font. No blades on the letters. It's voluntary letters, free letters, non-compulsory letters. In those footnotes, personal is better than corporate, and physical is better than abstract. The number is 800-8949, 800-8949. Make sure that you download the Next Radio app, and you can hear all our shows on your phone as if it were a real radio. And that is because the chip has been unlocked, and you don't have to stream the radio. You can actually pick up the real signal, the real FCC regulated signal from us. And our show is brought to you by Router Pros and Nooganomics.com. Make sure that you read the Gnome of Strawberry Plains' response to my essay on how the modern state turns people into corporations so that it can better manage them. Sean Slaughter, thanks for joining us. And Ture Tabuchi, thank you for joining us. These two run Watcep here in Chattanooga, the online recruiting platform for short-term foreign workers and visitors. David Toulis, Nooga Radio. Make sure to stay tuned. Sean Hannity, 3 o'clock. Sean Hannity at 3.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
Chattanooga police confirmed a juvenile was shot on East 14th Street. Reports say he was shot in the stomach. Hamilton County EMS responded to the scene, transported the victim to a local hospital. Chattanooga police working to find a suspect. If you have any info, give them a call. A pickup truck slammed into a home on Saturday morning. Reports say a Brainerd family was rudely awakened, shocked to discover a truck embedded in the base of their home. Responding firefighters towed the truck from the scene, covered the hole, but the homeowners will need a new place to stay. Cops on the scene arrested the driver for DUI. And Chattanooga police confirmed 64-year-old Karen Saxton was killed in a car crash on Highway 58. Reports say two cars collided when one pulled out in front of the other. The other driver was hospitalized. New reports confirm Ms. Saxton was a teacher at Westview Elementary. Counselors were called in to help the students cope with the loss. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio
92.7. Cash, and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
Let's face it, Old Faithful isn't as faithful as it used to be. Constant repairs are a hassle and can rack up quick in money and time. Landers McClarty Ford can fix that. Right now, you can get a 2016 Ford Focus, 34,000 miles, only $11,491. A 2017 Chevy Spark with only 17,000 miles for less than $12,000. A 2015 Volkswagen Jetta with less than 21,000 miles for $11,991. Yeah, browse their entire inventory of new and new-to-you cars, trucks, and SUVs online at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. If you can't find your next perfect ride, they'll go find it for you. Big city selection, small town prices, friendly service, and top dollar for your trade. The savings are waiting and only a short drive away, so what are you waiting for? Get started with your personalized shopping today at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com.
Join Nooga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
It's that time of year again. For the 7th year, Wings Over North Georgia Air Show will be Saturday, October the 13th, and Sunday, October the 14th. You'll see some of our government's finest assets flying in the world today. The rarely seen Air Combat F-22 Raptor demo team and the A-10 Warthog will both headline the show, along with Tora, which is the reenactment of Pearl Harbor to include pyrotechnics. Patty Wagstaff and Michael Goulian, both world aerobatic champions, will be showing off their amazing skills, along with numerous other aviation rock stars. On the ground, you'll be able to experience military static displays and even have an opportunity to ride in a Huey or Cobra helicopter. Wings Over North Georgia is an action-packed way to spend a weekend with your family. You can even camp on the grounds. The Richard B. Russell Regional Airport is the place for all the action on October the 13th and the 14th. For tickets and camping reservations, visit wingsovernorthgeorgia.com.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need AMCO Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. AMCO Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of clouds with scattered showers and storms likely out there through your afternoon as they'll head in from the south and west. Highs closer to 80. Tonight, a few lingering showers, lows near 68. For Tuesday, only spotty showers, highs into the lower 80s with more showers and storms likely Wednesday. Control your diabetes with the help of Hamilton Diabetes and Endocrinology Center. Now in Dalton and Ringgold. For more, their number 706-278-1622. And I'm Sorgene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Now, the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, Tennessee, David Toulis.
Lamennais, the French philosopher and political theorist, who was a Roman Catholic priest and at one point was the Bishop of Rennes, France, has a great saying. And the saying is, centralization brings apoplexy at the center and paralysis at the extremities. That's something that we need to think about, and through that concept, see the problems we have today and the solutions to them. The problems are the total state, right? The absolutist, despotic political state with its courts, its laws, its taxes, its police, its surveillance, its wars, and its ineffective social programs left and right. And we have national government bedeviled with debt that it can't possibly pay. The debt is 21 trillion paper dollars. We have a central bank that has absorbed $3 trillion in dodgy assets, ostensibly the basis of and the reserve of its currency, the dollar bill, and all around we have an unworkable system, increasingly so. Now, Walker County is a local municipal jurisdiction just south of the border. It has $62 million in debt. We're going to hear from Ray Burnfin about how this debt came about and what he is proposing to do to offer at least a very slight and partial remedy to it. Shannon Whitfield is the sole commissioner. He has had recently a 22% tax hike, according to a story about Ray Burnfin on page 1 this morning of the Chattanooga Times Free Press. And altogether, I think the tax increase in your county has been, the story said, about 50%. Is that right?
I'm not really certain what the percentages are. They gave some of that information at some of the public meetings that have been held. I attended a public meeting on the 23rd of August and made a statement or two there and regarding some solutions to the situation. It's a pleasure to be on board with you this afternoon, David, and be able to talk and discuss a little bit about this. And I wanted to just give you a little bit of my background, if I could possibly. I'm transplanted into Walker County, Georgia. My wife and I moved there in June of 1992, just time enough a little bit prior to the great blizzard of 93 that is well renowned in this country. Now, I wasn't too concerned about that because I come from the snow belt, and my native home is in Missouri, pretty close to Kansas City, down in Johnson County, Missouri. Holden, actually, Holden is my hometown. And Missouri, if you study the history or know the history a little bit about the state, Missouri is the show me state. And I want to just give you a little bit of information about how that all came about. That doesn't mean that we're confused about anything in that state. As a matter of fact, it is political in origin. And a Missouri congressman made a speech in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1899. His name was Willard Duncan Vandiver. He was running for re-election on the Democratic Party. He was assigned to the Naval Academy, and he made a speech to the Naval Academy in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And by way of introduction, he said, "I come from a state that grows corn, cotton, cuckleburs, and Democrats, and frothy eloquence neither convinces nor satisfies me. I'm from Missouri. You've got to show me." And even though he used some kind of incorrect grammar there, it stuck. The Missouri became the show me state. It's a call for action. Show me what you're talking about and quit talking this fancy, the frothy eloquence means idle talk. That
politicians are good at doing.
Exactly. And during campaigns and all other times, they promise you the world. So this idea came to me. I wanted
Now, which idea is that?
Well, the idea about a hymn singing that we're promoting down in the Walker
For
County
what purpose now?
Civic
What
Center.
is the purpose?
The purpose is that we're raising funds. It's a fundraising benefit endeavor to raise funds for debt reduction of the Walker County $6,200 million debt, just $62 million, not $100 million. But anyways, and so I wanted to have a hymn singing. I've been wanting to promote singing for a long time. And so I went to the Civic Center. There's a gentleman there that is responsible to lease the facility. And I began to inquire with him about just leasing the facility. And he said, well, you know, if you're going to have a paid performance or a paid event, well, we can work out some kind of percentage of the funds or ticket sales, and you can have certain percent of the building or you can have the whole thing. I said, what about if we just donate all our monies back to Walker County, Georgia to reduce the debt? And I put my name on the line right there on the form where you lease the facility as that. Every single cent in ticket sales, which is being handled by the Bank of Lafayette down at Lafayette, Georgia, is committed to reduce the debt. Now, we're going to have to probably have more than one event. It may be a series of events. We're going to keep on singing. We're going to sing our way right out of trouble. This particular event promotes the Broadman Hymnal, one of the earliest publications of the Southern Baptist Church. It preceded all of the Baptist hymnals. It was published in 1940. A great man of God, B.B. McKinney, was the editor of this hymnal. I have 50 copies. He's holding in his hand here one copy, but I have 50 brand new copies of this hymnal. It's been, I think, reprinted out of some different types of paper. It's a little bit thicker than the original Broadman hymnal, and it just has a white edging of the edging of the hymnal. See, just white hymnal. We're providing actually copies of this hymnal for sale. That is just our personal fundraising endeavor. Now, these monies will not be part of what we're contributing to the county. It's being raised by Golden Sound Music Incorporated, a Georgia nonprofit. That is my wife and I, and we are going to be raising funds so we can propel our own business and the nonprofit business. But anyway, getting back to what our objectives are here, we're in a considerable amount of trouble in this days and times. It begins with the county dog catcher all the way up to through and to the White House, and particularly in past administrations. I made a statement one time, and I want to show you here that I wear two flags on my right shoulder. The American flag being on top. I believe this is the proper way to display this. I followed this flag in the Vietnam era over into Germany. They did not send me to Vietnam. And this flag right here is well known also.
The Confederate battle banner.
We have a considerable amount of controversies about these flags today. Both of my great-grandfathers, my paternal great-grandfather, I don't have to add two or three more to it. My great-grandfather, Thomas Burnfin, followed the American flag and the 8th Kentucky Regiment all the way out of Kentucky right here into Chattanooga, Tennessee. And you go to the battlefield, the Welcome Center, or whatever, and inquire about the significance of the 8th Kentucky Volunteers. And they served at Point Park, actually, up on Point Park, but there are half a dozen areas around the base of the mountain here that the 8th Kentucky Regiment is inscribed on these monuments here. And
we're talking with Ray Burnfin, and I wanted to swing our musket barrels back around to this giant debt, Ray, in Walker County. Shannon Whitfield has had to raise taxes as much as 50%. There's a special fee. There's also by the estimate of the writer in the store today, about 50% increase. So you want to have a singing event, and you want to ask you'll be singing Christian songs from the Broadman Baptist hymnal.
Hymns, right? All hymns. These are hymns that have not been sang in a number of years. Our churches have not been singing hymns. And a great many of the churches. So people who come
will be hearing something new.
Well, they're old.
Well, but new to them.
They're old and new to most, yes, the present generations. Now, we have a great number of people, as myself. I grew up singing out of this hymnal back in the 1950s. My father was a song leader in a small country church back in Johnston County, Missouri, the Rose Hill Baptist Church. That's where I received my saving grace, and on the 23rd of October of 1964, just shortly before I left home, I received Jesus into my heart. And that's what these songs are all about. Now, getting back to some of the issues that involve not only just our budget in Walker County, we have a number of what I call paradoxes. Paradoxes are contradictions. In other words, we have issues and we have ideas and we have various different activities that really are contradictory to one another. We have an issue on the ballot coming up this fall to extend the time that the restaurants can serve alcohol. Now, that is called the brunch bill, and we're digging for, just grasping for straws for any which way that we can to raise revenues.
Now, Ray Burnfin, your position is this is not a good measure for Walker County?
That is correct. Let me explain just a little bit about it.
Let me just ask you, is this position in any way connected with the fundraising event that you've got scheduled for October 13th?
Well, yes, because we're worshiping our Lord Jesus Christ in hymns and in praises and worship. And on that particular night, we're going to lay down our political differences. We're going to lay down our doctrinal differences. We're going to have Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterians worshiping and praising through song our Lord Jesus Christ. And so that is our objective. It's going to be an evening of peace. And fellowship one with another, just like in the old country towns of days gone by. You had a Methodist church holding a meeting here on one block, and the Church of God would hold a meeting, the Baptist would hold a meeting, and they just went to wherever there was a meeting going on. And so there wasn't really a whole lot of doctrinal issues. And
let me ask Ray Burnfin about, I understand there'll be singing, doctrinal differences will be laid down at this possibly first fundraiser, but a fundraiser for the county on the 13th in Walker County. What kind of exhortations will be made, apart from the gospel exhortations in song and word, in favor of the county? What arguments will be made to have the listener, the person attending this event, open his billfold or write a check for the county? He's already paying taxes. He pays sales taxes. He pays SPLOST taxes. He pays a state income tax, which also funds local government operations. And yet these things aside, he has to lay those aside and say, I have a sense of charity and goodwill to my county. What kind of arguments can you make to soften, you might say, to soften his heart to the grace of your appeal? Right.
David, this is a citizen's patriotic duty. This debt does not belong to any particular officials that are in office. And we, the people, have been doing far too much finger pointing. We pointing fingers, well, so-and-so, this is their problem. They got us into this trouble, and this is their fault. And but we're just placing blame, and this is not getting us anywhere. Yeah. Shannon Whitfield, our present commissioner, he doesn't own this debt. He didn't create the debt, and he's not going to pay for it out of his pocket. And here's another thing also, you see, here's another one of those paradox situations. We have lotteries.
Well, what's the first paradox?
Well,
I didn't get it.
Well, we didn't get to the real point. It was about drinking and alcohol and the serving of alcohol in the now the scripture does not say that specifically alcohol is a sin. I don't believe anywhere in the scripture. In fact, it does advocate possibly that a little bit of wine would be good for the stomach and those kind of things. But it does say all the way throughout the scripture that drinking, strong drink, is unwise. It's not a wise thing to do. And why would we turn people loose all out here?
Well, the county was inebriated on easy credit, yes. Ray Burnfin. So there is a kind of toxic necessity that it yielded to over some years to have a debt of $62 million.
It began several years ago when there used to be a dry county, but we opened up our restaurants to serve drink and alcohol on Sunday, and then we're going to want to just increase the times right here. I'd like to read you Proverbs 31 is known by practically everyone, widely known as the virtuous woman. And usually the sermons that I've ever heard from this chapter begin with verse 10, but I want to read you the first 9 verses.
Well, how about we not read that right now? Just summarize the point. What is the point about the virtuous woman? She is a capitalist and an entrepreneur. She has business in the house, outside the house. She looks after her maids and servants. She cooks. She buys and sells real estate.
That's what it says. You need to hear the first 9 verses of this chapter, though, please, first to really get to this point.
What is the bearing on your fundraiser? How does that fit into the fundraising? Because that's why you're here, Ray Burnfin, to talk about the fundraiser. The fundraiser
to the fundraiser
is about a private solution to a public problem.
Yes, that's right.
That's
we have more.
You believe in.
Listen, besides the $62 million of debt, what I'm getting at is we've got far more issues in government, from the dog catcher all the way to the White House. There are issues that plague our people, and drinking and strong drink is one of them. The paradox is we're arresting drug users, we're after drug addictive people, but yet we turn in, and we've got a seatbelt law to protect people in their automobiles riding up and down the road, but yet we're turning people loose, drinking. Just a story this morning, somebody ran right into a house up here, a home, on East Brainerd Road. He was drunk. And that's the issue, is that we are trying to do one thing, but on the other hand, we just promoting the same thing that we're trying to get rid of.
Let me ask you,
does that make sense?
It does. We're talking with Ray Burnfin, who's having a private fundraiser to benefit, take at least a tiny bit out of a $62 million debt run up by Walker County elected and unelected officials. Now, let me ask you this about, since you are wanting to quote the scriptures and cite biblical principles, is there something to say for the idea of voluntary solutions to problems like this? We have a debt for capital expenses, capital outlays, and also operational expenses in the county. And is there a biblical warrant for the people of the county in Walker County to say, I care about my county, I love my county, and the government may have done some wrong things, but I'm going to lay those things aside. And I want you to explain to me the reason that the listener who's listening to your interview should support your fundraiser. Why should he care about Walker County? Who cares? Why? What is the civic reason, Ray Burnfin, that he should donate to the county? Is
number
it charitable
one
interest?
Number one is this, that I love my county. I love my community. I want a strong community. I want a safe community. I love the county. I'm not moving away because of high taxation. Here is another paradox. We're running multi-million dollars of lotteries. Poor people are buying lottery tickets every day in these convenience stores and playing multi-million dollars of giveaway lotteries, yet our county's $62 million in debt. And my question is why? The poor people are the ones that complain the most about high taxation, but yet they are the ones that are voluntarily paying volunteer taxes.
A state cartel invites them to yield to that temptation.
I understand. And see, that's the government. Our government has done foolish things in the past.
Then why should you, Ray Burnfin, hold a fundraiser to raise money for a dissolute county government?
Well, I'm a patriot, brother. And, I understand. I believe this is the way things are supposed to be done. Citizens are supposed to take an interest to the point where there are other solutions other than taxation. There is a statement that was made several years ago: the power to tax is the power to destroy. Now, you can search that, research it, and pull it right up and find the story. It's some kind of a banking scam up in the state of Maryland, I think, several years ago. But the statement was made, and that was the conclusion of the court in a lawsuit over taxations, that the power to tax is the power to destroy. And so we're overtaxed, and we're taxed on every hand. And we haven't made any deals with the county. I haven't even talked to the commissioner. I barely spoke to him at that meeting that I spoke on. But anyway, I'm a patriot, and I believe in America, and I believe there is a solution.
And Ray Burnfin wants you to take part in his fundraiser to help bail out some of the debt that Walker County has, $62 million in debt. David Tullis, Ray, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, my friend. I'm glad and joy to be here.
92.7 FM. And next is the great Sean Hannity, the greatest journalist in Washington. Sean Hannity, David Tullis.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga police confirmed a juvenile was shot on East 14th Street. Reports say he was shot in the stomach. Hamilton County EMS responded to the scene, transported the victim to a local hospital. Chattanooga police working to find a suspect. If you have any info, give them a call. A pickup truck slammed into a home on Saturday morning. Reports say a Brainerd family was rudely awakened, shocked to discover a truck embedded in the base of their home. Responding firefighters towed the truck from the scene, covered the hole, but the homeowners will need a new place to stay. Cops on the scene arrested the driver for DUI. And Chattanooga police confirmed 64-year-old Karen Saxton was killed in a car crash on Highway 58. Reports say two cars collided when one pulled out in front of the other. The other driver was hospitalized. New reports confirm Ms. Saxton was a teacher at Westview Elementary. Counselors were called in to help the students cope with the loss. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7. Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of clouds with scattered showers and storms likely out there through your afternoon as they'll head in from the south and west. Highs closer to 80. Tonight, a few lingering showers, lows near 68. For Tuesday, only spotty showers, highs into the lower 80s with more showers and storms likely Wednesday. Control your diabetes with the help of Hamilton Diabetes and Endocrinology Center. Now in Dalton and Ringgold. For more, the number 706-278-1622. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Pastor 4.
My ex recently hacked my email and my social media, and it really caused me some problems. I changed all my passwords, which helped, but I'm still getting trolled, maybe even stalked. I know it's him. I just can't prove it.
My business, well, it's been broken into twice already. I've got cameras, but that only helps after the fact. I'd rather prevent it from happening in the first place.
Unity One East is your solution to these and many other security concerns. With private investigation, security services, and backed by decades of real-life experience in military and law enforcement, Unity One East is your instant contact for security, investigation, and consultation to help protect you, your family, and your business. No 1-800 number, no red tape, no wait, because Unity One East is local and available 24/7. Reclaim your peace of mind. Call Unity One East, 475-6206, 475-6206.
Call 423-875-3600 if you're looking to expand your professional look of your business. Then consider the vast opportunities that are available when you locate your office with the Rains Group family. Remember, it's location, location, location, and the Rains Group has the location for your professional office. Check out the spaces for lease at Executive Business Park on the Lee Highway. Small or large, we will build to suit your needs with the Rains Group. Call 423-875-3600 for the business professionals with the Rains Group.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio.
Or into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric, you're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Quicken Loans.
I'm Jim Shanavy. Just days after reports surfaced that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein had explored ways to remove President Trump from office, including secretly recording the president, Rosenstein was summoned to the White House this morning by Chief of Staff John Kelly. CBS's Paula Reed.
It's been quite a morning for our Deputy Attorney General.